We'll now call this April 18th, 2024 meeting of the Centreville Town Council to order. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance and remain standing for a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, first on the agenda, we have the review of minutes from past meetings. We have approval of town council meeting minutes and budget work session minutes from April 4th. Are there any changes or corrections to either set of minutes?
I did find one very small typo on page 5 of the April 4th minutes, and that's just the council roundtable, fourth bullet, Vincent building versus Vincent. But I do that all the time, so no harm, no
That's an
foul.
easy mistake. Just misspelling the Vincent.
Cursive spell check.
Vincent.
Yeah, doesn't help you
building.
there, does it?
It not being a word. Okay. This is
And
an
that's
easy one.
short for, just quick history lesson, Vincit Omni Veritas. Did I get that right? The
I don't know.
county's logo, seal, whatever.
Whatever it is. Cool.
Very helpful, I know.
Yeah. Any other additions or corrections to either set of minutes, work session, or regular meeting?
I make a motion to approve the minutes of the April 4th work session and town council meeting with a correction.
Second.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, great. Now we will go into our first citizens forum. Citizens are requested to keep their comments to the council to 3 minutes. Is there anyone here that wishes to address the council? Okay. Now we are going to do some boards and commissions, and we don't have just a list of them all, right?
I am, if you give me 1 second, I have them all written down.
Eric is going to give us more county motto history. While we wait, give us everything you got.
I got nothing. That was all I had, unfortunately.
Dang, I'm going to have Jamie come do a citizen comment. So we have several board and commission appointments to do. Why don't we just break these in? Oh,
I'm done.
Okay.
okay. Sorry about that. It's my fault. I split up the stack.
You're okay.
Okay. So we have several nominees for boards and commissions in the town, and I'm just going to read these out, and if we want to have any discussion or take any up, or we can make a motion to approve them all in a batch, as it were. So we have Martha Herman for the Ethics Commission, a 3-year term. Mike Whitehill for the Parks Advisory Board for a 3-year term. This feels really loud. Jennifer Holdgreave for the Board of Elections for a 3-year term. Nancy Weibel for the Board of Elections for a 3-year term. Kara Willis for the Planning Commission for a 5-year term. And Kyle Faribaugh for the Planning Commission to complete a term that expires in April of 2027. Are there any discussion, any desire to break these up, any motions?
I'll make a motion to approve that slate as presented.
Second.
Any discussion? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, and now we are going to swear all of these people in. I have handed them out. Eric looks itching to roll here,
He's
so.
poised.
Okay, go for it.
He's poised.
Martha Herman. Raise your right hand, say aye, pronounce your name in full, and repeat after me.
I, Martha R. Herman,
Do solemnly affirm
do solemnly affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and that I will be faithful
and that I will be faithful
and bear true allegiance
and bear true allegiance
to the state of Maryland
to the state of Maryland
and support the Constitution and laws thereof,
and support the Constitution and laws thereof,
and that I will,
and that I will,
to the best of my skill and judgment,
to the best of my skill and judgment,
diligently and faithfully,
diligently and faithfully,
without partiality or prejudice,
without partiality or prejudice,
execute the office of
execute the office of
member of the Centreville Ethics Commission
member of the Centreville Ethics Commission
for a term expiring April 2027,
for a term expiring April 2027,
according to the Constitution
according to the Constitution
and laws of this state,
and the laws of the state,
the town charter,
the town charter,
and laws and ordinances
and laws and ordinances
of the town of Centreville.
of the town of Centreville.
Wonderful. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Eric, you got more than that?
I got a second one. Nancy's not here.
Yeah, Nancy.
Okay, I thought I gave you also Jennifer's.
Oh, you did. I can't read apparently. It's very good.
We all love swearing people in. I'm just so afraid I'm gonna mess it up. So I'm willing to mess up Mike's, but everybody else is ahead of it now.
All right, if you'll do the same thing, raise your right hand and say aye, pronounce your full name, and repeat after me.
I, Jennifer Holdred,
Do solemnly affirm
do solemnly affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and that I will be faithful
and that I will be faithful
and bear true allegiance
and bear true allegiance
to the state of Maryland
to the state of Maryland
and support the Constitution and laws thereof,
and support the Constitution and laws thereof,
and that I will,
and that I will,
to the best of my skill and judgment,
to the best of my skill and judgment,
diligently and faithfully,
diligently and faithfully,
without partiality or prejudice,
without partiality or prejudice,
execute the office of
execute the office of
member of the Centreville
member of the Centreville
Board of Supervisors of Elections
Board of Supervisors of Elections
for a 3-year term expiring April 2027,
for a 3-year term expiring April 2027,
according to the Constitution
according to the Constitution
and laws of this
and
state,
the laws of the state,
the town charter,
the town charter,
and laws and ordinances
and laws and ordinance
of the town of Centreville.
of the town of Centreville.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yay, thank you.
Okay, so we'll start with Kara. Okay.
I know you would do.
Okay, please raise your right hand. Say aye and pronounce your name in full and repeat after me.
I, Kara Willis,
Do solemnly affirm
do solemnly affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and that I will be faithful
and that I will be faithful
and bear true allegiance
and bear true allegiance
to the state of Maryland
to the state of Maryland
and support the Constitution and laws thereof,
and support the Constitution and laws thereof,
and that I will,
and that I will,
to the best of my skill and judgment,
to the best of my skill and judgment,
diligently and faithfully,
diligently and faithfully,
without partiality or prejudice,
Without-
prejudice,
without partiality or prejudice,
right, okay. Execute the office of
execute the office of
member of the Centreville Planning Commission
member of the Centreville Planning Commission
for a 5-year term
for a 5-year term
expiring April 2029,
expiring April 2029,
according to the Constitution and laws of this state,
according to the Constitution and laws of the state,
the town charter,
the town charter,
and the laws and ordinances of the town of Centreville.
and the laws and ordinances of the town of Centreville.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Yay, thank
Okay, Kyle, come on up. Okay, please raise your right hand and let's see, say aye and pronounce your full name and repeat after me.
I, Kyle Faribault,
Do solemnly affirm
do solemnly affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and that I will be faithful
and that I will be faithful
and bear true allegiance
and bear true allegiance
to the state of Maryland
to the state of Maryland,
and support the Constitution and laws thereof,
to support the Constitution and laws thereof,
and that I will,
and that I will,
to the best of my skill and judgment,
to the best of my skill and judgment,
diligently and faithfully,
diligently and faithfully,
without partiality or prejudice,
without partiality or prejudice,
execute the office of
execute the office of
member of the Centreville Planning Commission
member of the Centreville Planning Commission
to complete an existing term
to complete an existing term
expiring April 2027,
expiring April 2027,
according to the Constitution and laws of this state,
according to the Constitution and laws of this state,
the town charter,
the town charter,
and laws and ordinances of the town of Centreville.
and laws and ordinances of the town of Centreville.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
you. Yay. You did it, Dan. All right, Mike, you're up. I don't ever do these, so I try to hand them out every time. All right, please raise your right hand, say aye, pronounce your name in full, and repeat after me.
I, Michael Conrad Whitehill,
do solemnly affirm
do solemnly affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and that I will be faithful
and that I will be faithful
and bear true allegiance
and bear true allegiance
to the state of Maryland
to the state of Maryland
and support the Constitution and laws thereof,
and support the Constitution and laws thereof,
and that I will, to the best of my skill and judgment,
to the best of my skill and judgment,
diligently and faithfully,
diligently and faithfully,
without partiality or prejudice,
without partiality or prejudice,
execute the office of
execute the office of
member of the Centreville Park Advisory Board
member of the Centreville Parks Advisory Board
for a 3-year term expiring April 2027,
for a 3-year term expiring April 27,
according to the Constitution and laws of this state,
according to the Constitution and the laws of this state,
the town charter,
the town charter,
and laws and ordinances of the town of
the
Centreville.
laws and ordinances of the town of Centreville.
You're in. It's a lifetime appointment, I think.
Yeah, I think it might be, actually, yeah. Fair. God willing, we wouldn't live till that long.
All right. Next up, we have old business, Resolution 9-2024, Charter Amendment, Section 701, second reading. This is sponsored by Councilmember Beecham. We have it set for public hearing next,
May 2nd.
May 2nd. Anything, just keeps full steam ahead to the public hearing. Perfect, moving right along. All right, new business. We have ordinance 03-2024, and I think that's in your packet. Sorry, I gotta get there. And this is, hold on, I'm not at the right one yet. Sorry, guys. All right, so this is for the building codes for the livability standards, correct?
Not the,
No,
no,
not
the International Building Code,
Yes.
International Residential Code. So we have until, what's the date, Sharon?
May 27th?
To update our code to the state's latest code.
This is just to get us consistent with the state's latest.
Correct.
Okay,
And we do that every few years, as I recall.
Yeah, about every 4 years, they update the codes.
all right, and this is an ordinance, so this is just a first reading?
This is just a first reading, so we'll have to do a public hearing for this, right, Sharon?
Yeah, we probably should do a public hearing.
Yep. So we'll do it on May 16th. So that'll be enough time to advertise.
All right. Next up, we have a proclamation for Arbor Day. You have that in your packet. This is your chance to go on the record for not liking trees, if you don't like them.
Motion to approve.
Do we have a second? All those in favor? Aye. All right.
That was a tough one with all the pollen out there.
Yeah, really.
I know, I'm just giving you guys chances to get on the record. If you don't like trails or trees, just keep coming back. All right, ordinance 4-2024, this is the budget. This is our first reading. Karen, you coming up for this? You have a memo in your packets and then the ordinance.
Yep, so we finished the budget work sessions early, 3 sessions instead of 4. The changes, I just listed what changes were made based on the last conversation. Ultimately, the general fund transfer to fund balance ends at $105,650. The enterprise transfer to fund balance ends at $151,706. That was changing the allocation from 5% to 0% and adjusting a few of the health insurance numbers based on the actual numbers that we finally got from the company. And the only other change was the $3,000 added to the parks for the fixing and printing of the trail map brochures. So I just want to give you 2 quick updates. I had an ARPA meeting today, found out that a contract is an obligation, but also an MOU is considered an obligation in how they presented. And their example was the town wants to give Public Works $500,000 to yada, yada, yada. You do the MOU as an intergovernment transfer, and that is considered an obligation.
Oh, great.
And the second quick note, Carolyn and I worked on the constant yield, got the advertisement already, sent it in to Zachary at the state, and Zach says, oh, the new policy is you don't have to do a hearing for the constant yield unless you're increasing your current tax rate from the previous year, which we are not. So the constant yield hearing requirement is we do not have to do this year.
Okay.
So one less thing to worry about.
We can just discuss it all in the budget public hearings. Okay,
That's all I have.
Budget public hearing will be,
May 16th.
I won't be here, I'm sorry, but I'm sure it'll be a fun one. Okay, thank you. All right, now we have Resolution 10-2024, parking spaces. We talked about this a couple of meetings ago. I have no sense of direction, but the parking spaces directly behind us.
Directly behind us.
Opposite side of the street, that make it difficult for anyone doing business with Town Hall and attempting to leave to do so safely. And so this resolution seeks to designate them as a no parking area. And, we can always change our minds if it doesn't help. But I think, as you guys know, I've been pretty vocal up here about traffic safety and the way people drive around town, and definitely don't want people to, come to pay their water bill and then not be able to see to leave.
It is very difficult during the day.
Have there been any accidents at that intersection?
Not that I know of.
Okay. Well, the problem is if we start down this road, there'll be all kinds of requests to eliminate parking in town, and we really do need all the parking places that are available.
Yeah, I think we do need parking. When we brought this up, I think it was a month ago,
Yes.
we said, call Town Hall, let's hear what the pain points are for other intersections that are made dangerous by street parking, and has anyone called?
Okay, I guess I'll have to call, because coming out of Fayette, which I do every morning, is difficult when people park on that corner.
Yes, I come out every
But I'm not
every morning.
I'm not going to put in requests to eliminate parking, because I know how to sneak my nose out there. The speed limit's only 25 miles an hour. It's not like 40 or 50 miles an hour coming down Liberty Street. So
There are signs there that say cars only, and the few
Right.
times that I've had opportunity to pay attention to it, because I don't drive that road that often, but there's usually SUVs in that parking place,
Yeah.
which complicated it even worse. The whole concept of the cars only sign was to improve visibility around that corner.
Right.
I wonder if we could get by with maybe temporarily closing the end parking spot and see if that helps, and leave the other 3 or 4 instead of closing the whole line.
I mean, I'm certainly fine with that as an interim attempt. I agree that there might be more areas around town, certainly, and I would want to know about those. I guess I'm not super moved by, let's leave a situation unsafe so more people can park either, though. But that,
since it's a state highway, are we allowed to just close down parking places?
there are parking spots, correct?
Yes.
We can do that. Okay.
All right, so,
Well, maybe we should just come up with a general policy that there shouldn't be any parking within so many feet of a corner. And then that would automatically take care of some other issues.
yeah.
I think it's, excuse me, 30 feet from a stop sign.
30 feet from a stop sign, but that doesn't help you on
Yeah,
the, right.
there's no
Yeah.
stop sign, or stop sign going down.
We could extend it to 50 or 60 feet or some other.
Or you could make it, you could just make it the same 30 feet. There is no stop sign because it's the state highway. So there's a stop sign when you're pulling out onto it, but there's not a stop sign when you're
Yes, there's not a stop sign 1, 2,
when you're
13.
on it. So you don't need,
Yes.
so you don't have that same 30 feet.
Oh, okay.
And that's the state law, is 30 feet from a stop sign. All right, so I guess I like let's temporarily close the end.
I would support
And let's break, can we keep this on the agenda and we'll talk about it
Yeah.
again at the next meeting?
Sure.
I mean,
Let's see if we can get some soft enforcement of the cars only. I don't want parking tickets, but
Warnings.
notes on the windshield
Yeah.
or something.
I think there's people, you stop seeing things after a while, right? I think the same can be true of the change speed limit in our community. People, they know it to be what it was, and so people don't notice a change. And so, yeah, I do think a little bit of enforcement would help in closing that one end spot. And then maybe, we make a policy where it's from the corners, which would help on Ridgeview and a few other places.
The
that you're
Ritchie's
saying,
problem
yeah.
too, right. Yeah.
Ridgeview's bad, and that's the path between my house and Duncan, so I'm there every day. All right. We have correspondence, you guys.
I know, we had to add it back to the agenda.
The moment I've been waiting for. So we did write a letter. I'm a little bit offended by the response, quite frankly, but dear councilmen, we start.
I saw that and I
Off to an
thought the
excellent
same
start,
thing.
State Highway, but the good news is they do plan to pave. So, horrible salutation, great letter. But this is in response to the council's letter asking about the paving of the stretch from Gravel Run Bridge to Wexford Drive / Spaniard Neck Road. They are temporarily filling potholes and are scheduled to repave this location by the end of June, weather permitting. So, really exciting. All right, reports of boards and commissions, Maryland Municipal League.
Nothing to report this evening, thank you.
Council of Governments.
Nothing to report. We have a meeting next month.
Next month, and Centerville is hosting.
Centerville's hosting and Jeff is running for secretary, I heard.
Yeah.
I heard that.
May 8th.
Here, here.
May 8th. So everyone is invited.
Got my vote.
I don't know exactly
if I'm
where it'll be
voting,
yet, but we'll get there.
All right. Economic development, I see there are slides.
There are slides, but I want to let everybody know in advance that they're going to be quick and
Ashley's
relatively painless.
She's working on a record
Promises.
tonight.
We are. So you see the beautiful cover slide? We'll move forward. So we had our launch April 10th. It was well attended. We had a good mix of business, community leaders, agency reps. The group has agreed to meet the second Wednesday of each month at 5:30 p.m. With the exception of the May meeting, they will all be in here for the rest of the year. So more to come. I'm just trying to find a location. I may look at Vincent. Maybe you could help me with that. But there will be a formal board of directors to form over the next 6 months. I will not be part of that. So I'm going to continue to help as the liaison for economic development on the council, but with the understanding that I want to slowly bow out and be the liaison and have folks kind of step up. The group has agreed to score the 2015 Economic Development Plan. Pat Fox and I, about a year ago, put together a scorecard that we think would be helpful. So a group of independent folks, not spend any money, is going to do that. And then the group is proposing to come to the council in July to brief kind of on projects and findings. Next one. These come right out of the 2015 plan. What we did was we looked at all of the strategies that were recommended, and I want to say there were about 9 or 10, and these 4 made sense for a private nonprofit to do. We kind of tweaked some of the language. The remaining 6 or 7, 5 or 6, whatever it was, really do feel like things that should stay in the town's lane. So we'll come back and kind of talk about those in July. Creed working groups, this is what's really exciting. So 3 projects have already started to gain steam. One would be medical care facilities, looking at urgent care, long-term care, things that we've talked about historically in the town, and some projects that kind of started but then didn't end up finishing, for example, in the business park. So we're working with the county's economic development, other county officials, Dr. Ciatola, the health officer, we're going to be reaching out to kind of find out what the county's doing already. We don't want to step on any toes. But if there isn't anything that's already locked in, then we would look at partners such as University of Maryland Shore Regional Health, Anne Arundel, Eastern Shore Urgent Care, et cetera. Diverse housing, this is something really exciting. Tiny homes, affordable, sustainable housing, something that, just full disclosure, I'm the executive director of the Center for the Military and Veteran Family. We've been talking about a Veterans Village project somewhere in the county that would be similar to the Tunnel for Towers projects, where they have tiny homes for veterans that are affordable, sustainable, and then they have kind of a central community service footprint, whether it be housing resources, financial assistance, you name it. We had some partners come to the Creed launch that had been talking about doing a similar project, but for seniors, where there would be alternatives to nursing home residency, on-site home health, a lot of economies of scale if you sort of married those 2 components together. So we have already talked to existing development initiatives, including Providence Farm, looking at the business park, pursuing state funding. This thing is already really taking off. I want to focus on the word at the very top, exploratory. So none of these things are commitments. These are exploration at this time, but it's awesome that a lot of partners have just kind of piled on and said, yeah, I want to hear more. And then finally, an indoor farmers market. Looking at a model similar to Easton, Middletown's Amish markets. Carol D'Agostino, our Main Street manager, suggested during the meeting that we involve the existing Centreville Farmers Market, and I went a step further and said I think that needs to be a condition of any exploration. There's a lot of folks that have put their blood, sweat, and tears into sticking it out, and so those should be sort of at the forefront. We're looking at downtown real estate options and ARPA funds, not going to compete. We were invited by the county to apply by the 20th for ARPA money, and that would have potentially been competitive to the property catty corner from Edwards. So just for the record, in case you hear differently, we are not putting something in. We want that to succeed. But there's other ARPA and other funding out there other than ARPA that could be available. So it's exciting that, you know, this group came together as volunteers, and we seem to have some momentum around a couple projects. So that concludes my report.
All right, quick. Okay, Park Advisory Board. I don't have anything, right? I'm like, do I have anything? I'm nervous with you here. My Park Advisory Board boss is here, and I don't know what I'm supposed to say. I don't think we have anything.
You're good.
Planning Commission.
I better say something since the planning commission's here too. So, they had a very very productive and busy meeting last night. They made a favorable recommendation to the Board of Appeals and a conditional approval of a site plan for a mixed-use building at 216 North Commerce Street. Okay. They discussed the proposed Providence Farm annexation. They adopted revisions to their rules and bylaws, and they also have, I think they finished reviewing zoning map changes, which you'll hear more about, and which will also be subject of a public hearing in the future. So,
Awesome. All right,
that's all.
sweet. Reports of department heads, town manager.
I just have one quick, we've all been working hard, but we're just all doing our own things. So along with meeting with Providence Farm for the annexation and talking to them, Karen wanted me to mention that we met with the auditors this week, so she has started that process. So we talked to them to discuss preparing for the 2024 audit. And Karen, as with the last couple years, is looking for, she informed them she wants her statements by October again this year. So she, so the process is underway. She goes from budget to audit, so.
Awesome.
No rest.
No rest. So.
All right, we have a written report from the chief of police. One request would be when the speed trailer is out, like it was just out in